Word from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department indicates that the sheriff isn't going to enforce an oppressive mask mandate, which sounds great, but in fact, he's going to do the right thing for the wrong reasons. Let's explore why that's the case. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. You know, on July 16th, Sheriff Alex Villanueva issued a press release explicitly stating that he will not enforce the new mask mandate announced July 15th by LA County officials. Noting the contradiction between the county position and those stated by other political parasites, Sheriff Villanueva wrote this, quote, "Forcing the vaccinated and those who already contracted COVID-19 to wear masks indoors is not backed by science and contradicts the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's CDC guidelines." End quote. He adds, quote, "The Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, DPH, has authority to enforce the order, but the underfunded/defunded Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department will not expend our limited resources and instead ask for voluntary compliance." All of which is encouraging to see. We see a law enforcement officer refusing to enforce a rotten order. But a person has to direct some soft, well-meant criticism at Sheriff Villanueva because though he's doing the right thing, he's not doing it for the reason that is most fundamental to his job. He's not mentioning that he's motivated by any oath he took to uphold the U.S. and California constitutions, both of which not only don't grant the county the power to mandate that people wear masks or anything else, but which also explicitly prohibit mandates that prevent people from engaging in freedom of contract, worship, property ownership, privacy, and voluntary association. The bulk of the Bill of Rights prohibits infringements that these compulsory demands on residents actually represent. And they can happen in any state, territory, or the District of Columbia. They would still be unconstitutional, as I've mentioned before for MRC-TV. In fact, if you look at the contract clause of the U.S. Constitution, it prohibits state-level governments from interfering in the fulfillment of private contract. So, for example, if an employer and an employee have a work agreement that doesn't include an agreement for mask wearing, a political subdivision can't force a new contract on them and make them wear masks. Sheriff Villanueva has sworn an oath to uphold those constitutional standards. And as a result, even if there was some CDC reason that he could cite as a possible rationale for enforcing the county orders, he'd be sworn not to enforce them because the Constitution of the U.S. and the Constitution of California both were what he swore to abide. And a final note in his press release amplifies this problem. It's a problem that's worth noting, I believe, because so many people so easily can fall into what is often called normalcy bias when looking at mandates and regulations and stuff that supposedly is done for your protection, but it's commanded by the state. They forget the foundational rules that are being thwarted. In his notable July 16th release, the sheriff observed this, quote, "We encourage the DPH, Department of Public Health, to work collaboratively with the Board of Supervisors and law enforcement to establish mandates that are both achievable and supported by science." End quote. That shows that Sheriff Villanueva misses the point. It's not the place of the DPH and the Board of Supervisors and law enforcement to establish mandates, even if they're supported by so-called science. Because the mandates are unconstitutional, and they are obviously unconstitutional. Beyond that, they're immoral and unethical. Anyone who wants to take a cursory glance at the contract clause, at the Bill of Rights, and the California Constitution can see what is written in them. And you know, I just want to make this a gentle reminder for Sheriff Villanueva and to all Americans who might applaud him without looking more deeply at what he assumes the government has the so-called power to do. We hope they'll look more deeply. Then, after they see that none of this is constitutional, they can go to the next level and see that even if it were permitted by the purported rule books of the United States and California, those rules are imposed on us as well, if you really think about it. Only the politicians, military, police, and bureaucrats swear oaths to abide by the Constitution. The least we can do is ask those people who are willing to get into politics and promise they'll abide by those rules to actually keep their word. Hey, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Do the same on Rumble if you can, and spread the word about these. We love to see that people are sharing the videos and getting the word around. Visit us anytime at MRCTV.org. And of course, you can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Parler. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.